The smallest bill can reveal the biggest truth about a person's heart. On most evenings, $12 would disappear as quietly as loose change. But tonight, $12 would change far more than a dinner. The little neighborhood restaurant glowed with warm amber lights against the cool evening air. Soft jazz drifted through hidden speakers, mixing with the gentle sound of silverware and quiet conversations. Families celebrated birthdays. Couples laughed over dessert. Friends toasted another successful week. To almost everyone inside, it was just another ordinary Friday night. Claire carefully opened the menu for the third time, not because she had not chosen, because she was adding the prices in her head once again. Across the table, her 6-year-old daughter looked up with bright blue eyes filled with excitement. "Mom, can I have the grilled cheese?" Claire smiled immediately. "Of course you can, sweetheart. And the tomato soup? You have been thinking about that all week." The little girl giggled. "I know." Claire reached across the table and gently tucked a loose strand of blonde hair behind her daughter's ear. "You deserve your favorite." She never mentioned that she had already decided to order only a cup of coffee for herself. She had quietly eaten a peanut butter sandwich before leaving home. That way, her daughter would never have to choose the cheaper meal. Outside the large front windows, cars rolled slowly beneath glowing streetlights. Inside, the restaurant smelled of fresh bread, roasted garlic, and warm butter. For just a little while, it almost felt as though life had returned to normal. Their food arrived a few minutes later. The little girl smiled so brightly that Claire forgot every unpaid bill waiting on the kitchen counter back home. Forgot the overdue utility notice. Forgot the stack of unanswered job applications. Forgot the sleepless nights. 420 peaceful minutes. She was simply a mother watching her daughter enjoy dinner. Across the dining room, a tall man in a perfectly tailored charcoal suit quietly finished reading several business documents beside his untouched cup of black coffee. He looked nothing like someone seeking attention. No security team. No expensive display of wealth. Just calm observation. From where he sat near the window, he noticed the little girl thanking the waitress before every plate touched the table. He noticed the mother smiling more often than she ate. He noticed kindness where most people would have seen only another customer. Then the check arrived. Claire unfolded the receipt. $12. Exactly what she had expected. She reached into her purse and removed a well-worn wallet. One credit card. One debit card. A few carefully folded $1 bills. She inserted the debit card into the payment terminal. Processing. Then a soft electronic tone interrupted the silence. Transaction declined. Claire blinked once. Perhaps she had entered the wrong number. She tried again. The same message appeared. Transaction declined. A quiet breath escaped her lips. Her daughter looked up. "Mom." Claire immediately smiled. "It is okay, sweetheart." She kept her voice warm. "I think the machine is just having a little problem." The young waiter walked back toward the table. He glanced at the screen, then at Claire. His polite smile disappeared. "There is a problem with your payment." Several nearby diners looked over for only a moment before returning to their conversations. Claire lowered her voice. "I am so sorry. Would you mind giving me 2 minutes? I would like to call my bank." The waiter folded his arms. "We cannot keep tables occupied while people figure out how to pay." Claire felt every word land a little heavier than the last. "I understand. I promise I am not trying to avoid the bill. It is only $12. The waiter let out a short laugh that carried farther than he intended. "If it is only $12, then paying it should not be difficult." The room did not become silent. It became quieter, just enough for nearby tables to notice. Claire lowered her eyes not because she was ashamed, but because she did not want her daughter to see embarrassment reflected on her face. Near the window, the tall man slowly placed his pen on the table. For the first time that evening, he stopped reading completely. Claire kept her smile exactly where it belonged, on her face. Not because she felt calm, because one frightened look from her would be enough to make her daughter worry. "It is all right," she said softly. "Give me just a moment." The little girl nodded without question. She trusted her mother completely. Claire opened her banking application once more. A notification appeared across the screen. Automatic insurance payment processed. Her heart sank. She had forgotten the payment was scheduled for that afternoon. It had protected their old sedan. It had also emptied the last dollars from her checking account. She closed the screen before her daughter could see it. "I am sorry," she said to the waiter. "There must have been an automatic payment today. Could I please call my bank? It should only take a few minutes." The waiter glanced toward the busy dining room. "We have customers waiting." "I understand. I will be as quick as I can." He sighed loudly enough for nearby tables to hear. "We are not a charity." Claire lowered her voice even further. "I never asked for charity. I only asked for a few minutes." Several diners quietly exchanged uncomfortable glances. An elderly couple stopped eating. A young father looked down at his plate. No one wanted to stare. Yet no one seemed able to ignore what was happening. Claire reached for her phone. Before she could dial the bank, her daughter gently placed a tiny hand over hers. "Mom!" Claire looked up immediately. "What is it, sweetheart?" The little girl reached into the pocket of her small pink sweater. Carefully, she pulled out 3 wrinkled $1 bills. "I have my birthday money." Claire felt her throat tighten. "No, sweetheart. You can use it." Her daughter smiled with complete innocence. "I was saving it for the butterfly backpack." Claire shook her head gently. "You worked very hard saving that. We can buy it later." The little girl pushed the folded bills across the table anyway. "I like eating with you better." For a brief moment, Claire forgot the restaurant, forgot the waiter, forgot everyone watching. She simply looked at the little girl sitting across from her. Then she carefully folded the $3 and slipped them back into her daughter's pocket. "That money belongs to you. But I want to help." "You already do." She reached across the table and squeezed her daughter's hand. "You remind me every day that I am richer than I feel." The little girl smiled. She did not fully understand the words. She understood the love. The waiter cleared his throat impatiently. "So, how exactly are you planning to pay?" Claire looked at him with calm honesty. "I am trying to solve the problem." "It does not look that way." She took one slow breath. "If necessary, I can leave my driver's license and come back first thing tomorrow morning." "We do not do that." "I understand. I can also transfer money from another account." "Then why have you not done it?" "Because the transfer takes a little time." The waiter shook his head. "Every customer suddenly has a story when the bill arrives." The sentence landed harder than the declined payment ever had. Not because it questioned her finances, because it questioned her character. Claire did not defend herself. She simply lowered her eyes for a second, gathering the strength to remain gentle. Near the window, the tall man quietly closed the leather folder containing his business reports. He had listened carefully from the beginning, not only to the words, but to the tone behind them. He noticed that the mother had never raised her voice, never blamed anyone, never demanded special treatment. He also noticed something else. The little girl had stopped smiling. She was staring down at her untouched spoon, twisting it slowly between her fingers as though wondering if she had somehow caused the problem. The man looked across the restaurant. Servers continued carrying plates. The kitchen doors swung open and closed. Conversation slowly resumed. Life moved forward for everyone else. But for one little girl, this dinner would become a memory. He rose quietly from his chair, placed a few crisp bills beneath his untouched coffee cup, straightened his jacket. Then, without the slightest hurry, he began walking toward Claire's table. The man stopped beside Claire's table with the quiet confidence of someone who never needed to announce his arrival. He looked first at the little girl, then at Claire. Finally, he turned toward the waiter. "Good evening." His voice was calm, respectful, impossible to ignore. The waiter forced a polite smile. "Good evening, sir. I could not help noticing there seems to be a misunderstanding." "There is no misunderstanding." The waiter gestured toward the payment terminal. "The card was declined." The man nodded once. "I heard that." His eyes drifted briefly toward Claire. "I also heard her politely ask for a few minutes." The waiter shifted uncomfortably. "We have procedures." "I am sure you do." The answer came without the slightest hint of anger. "But procedures should never replace judgment." Claire looked up. She immediately recognized the kindness in his voice. It sounded remarkably different from pity. "I appreciate your concern," she said gently, "but I do not want anyone paying my bill." The man smiled warmly. "I was not planning to." Her expression revealed quiet surprise. Instead of reaching for his wallet, he simply pulled out a business card and placed it face down on the edge of the table. "I only wanted to ask whether everything has been handled with respect." The waiter frowned. "We treated her like every other customer." The man remained silent for several seconds. Sometimes, silence asks better questions than words. He looked around the dining room. Several guests quickly lowered their eyes. The elderly couple had not resumed eating. The young father still watched from across the room. Even another waitress standing near the beverage station appeared uncomfortable. The atmosphere itself answered before anyone else could. The man turned back toward the waiter. Did she raise her voice? No. Did she refuse to pay? No. Did she become disrespectful? No. Then why does an entire dining room suddenly feel uncomfortable? The question lingered. The waiter searched for an answer. None came. Claire quietly spoke. "Please." She offered a small apologetic smile. "I really do not want anyone getting into trouble because of me." The man looked at her with genuine curiosity. "You are worried about him? He is probably having a difficult evening too." The waiter looked up. For the first time since approaching the table, someone had offered him understanding instead of criticism. Claire continued, "We all have days that make us less patient than we should be." She lowered her eyes. "I know I have." The man's expression softened almost imperceptibly. He had expected dignity. He had not expected grace. The little girl looked between the adults before gently tugging on her mother's sleeve. "Mom." "Yes, sweetheart. Is everything going to be okay?" Claire smiled immediately. "It always is." "How do you know?" "Because kind people usually find each other." The man quietly looked away for a moment. Those simple words settled somewhere much deeper than he expected. He had spent years negotiating billion-dollar agreements, yet a child's question, and a mother's answer, somehow carried greater weight. The restaurant manager hurried from the office after noticing the growing attention surrounding table 14. "Is there a problem here?" Before anyone else could respond, the waiter quickly explained. The guest's payment was declined. The manager looked toward Claire, then toward the distinguished man standing beside the table. His expression changed instantly. Recognition flashed across his face. "Good evening, mister." The man raised one finger gently, not as a warning, simply as a request. The manager immediately stopped speaking. No name was mentioned. No title was revealed. The dining room remained unaware of who had quietly walked into the middle of an ordinary evening. The man slipped the business card back into his jacket without exposing it. He preferred listening before introducing himself. He looked calmly at the manager. "I would appreciate understanding exactly how your team is trained to handle situations like this." The manager swallowed carefully. I would be happy to explain." "I hope so." His voice remained composed. "Because what I witnessed tonight was not about $12. He glanced once more toward Claire and her daughter. "It was about whether dignity is treated as part of the meal." The manager stood speechless. Across the dining room, conversations faded once again. No one knew the stranger's identity, but somehow, everyone sensed that this quiet conversation was about to change far more than a single dinner bill. The manager glanced nervously between Claire, the waiter, and the distinguished stranger. For a moment, no one spoke. The dining room seemed to pause along with them. "I sincerely apologize if anyone felt uncomfortable," the manager finally said. The man looked at him with calm attention. "You chose your words carefully." "I tried to." "You apologized for discomfort." A gentle pause followed. "You did not apologize for disrespect." The manager lowered his eyes. Claire quietly stepped forward. "Please." Her voice remained soft. "I really do not want this becoming something bigger." The man turned toward her. "What would you like to happen?" She answered almost immediately. "I would like to pay my bill. And after that, I would like to take my daughter home. Nothing else." Claire smiled gently. I think everyone deserves the chance to have a better evening than the one they started with. The little girl reached for her mother's hand again. I am not hungry anymore. Claire's heart quietly broke. You hardly touched your dinner. I can eat cereal when we get home. Claire squeezed her tiny hand. You should never have to settle because of grown-up problems. The stranger noticed the untouched bowl of tomato soup slowly cooling beside the little girl. He also noticed Claire had barely touched her own coffee. One untouched dinner. One worried child. One exhausted mother. The cost of the evening had already become far greater than $12. The manager cleared his throat. Ma'am, if you need more time, we can certainly wait. Claire nodded gratefully. Thank you. I appreciate that. She stepped a few feet away from the table and called her bank's customer service number. Soft recorded messages filled the silence. Estimated wait time, 14 minutes. Claire quietly closed her eyes for a brief second. Not in frustration, only in disappointment. She returned to the table. It will take a little longer than I hoped. The waiter shifted impatiently. We cannot hold open checks all night. Before anyone else could answer, an elderly gentleman from a nearby booth slowly stood. He walked toward Claire carrying his wallet. Please allow me. Claire immediately shook her head. Thank you. Her smile remained warm. But I cannot accept. It is only $12. I know. You would do the same for me. She nodded. I probably would. Then why not let someone help you? Claire answered with quiet honesty. Because kindness should never leave someone feeling indebted. The elderly man smiled with admiration. I have not heard that in a very long time. He returned to his table without another word. Another customer quietly approached. Then another. Not to stare. Not to judge. One young woman gently placed a $20 bill near the edge of Claire's table before attempting to walk away unnoticed. Claire quickly picked it up. Excuse me. The woman turned. I think you dropped this. I did not. Claire walked over and carefully placed the bill back into her hand. I truly appreciate your heart. She smiled warmly. But someone else will need your kindness more than I do. The young woman's eyes filled with tears. She quietly nodded. Across the restaurant, the distinguished man watched every interaction. No anger. No self-pity. No bitterness. Every opportunity to become resentful. Claire somehow transformed into another opportunity to remain gracious. He had attended leadership seminars around the world. He had listened to celebrated speakers discuss integrity, resilience, and emotional intelligence. Yet nothing felt as convincing as watching one tired mother protect everyone else's dignity while quietly carrying her own burden. The manager looked toward the stranger once more. I assure you, we will review this situation. I believe you should. The man spoke gently. But not tonight. The manager looked confused. Tomorrow morning. Why tomorrow? The stranger slowly reached into his jacket. This time he removed the same business card and turned it over. The manager accepted it. His eyes widened almost instantly. The color drained from his face. He looked back up speechless. The waiter frowned. What is it? The manager could barely find his voice. His hands trembled slightly as he looked from the card to the man standing calmly before him. Everything suddenly made sense. The quiet confidence, the careful questions, the refusal to reveal his identity. The man met his gaze with complete composure. I would like every security recording from this restaurant tonight. He paused. From the moment she walked through your front door. The manager swallowed hard. Yes, sir. And tomorrow morning. His voice remained remarkably gentle. We are going to have a very important conversation about what your guests are really paying for. Claire looked at the manager with quiet confusion. She had not seen the business card. She had not heard the title hidden behind the respectful "Yes, sir." To her, he was still only a stranger who had chosen kindness over convenience. I think I should go, she said softly. The distinguished man turned toward her. I understand. I appreciate everything you tried to do. He smiled. I did very little. I do not agree. Claire carefully gathered her purse and folded the dinner receipt into her wallet. Her daughter slipped her small hand into hers without saying a word. Before leaving, Claire walked toward the waiter. The entire restaurant watched. No one expected what happened next. She offered him a gentle smile. "I hope tomorrow is easier for you." The waiter stared at her, unable to answer. She continued, "We all carry things other people cannot see." Then she quietly turned toward the entrance. Not one harsh word. Not one accusation. Only grace. The front door opened. A cool evening breeze drifted into the restaurant. Outside, the sidewalk shimmered beneath rows of streetlights after a brief afternoon rain. Halfway to the corner, Claire noticed an elderly woman struggling with 2 heavy grocery bags that had slipped from a small folding cart. Without hesitation, she knelt beside the scattered groceries. Several apples rolled toward the curb. Her daughter hurried after them, carefully gathering each one before traffic reached the intersection. "There you go," the little girl said proudly as she handed an apple back. The elderly woman smiled. "You two are angels." Claire laughed softly. "No, we are just neighbors." Together, they helped reload every grocery bag onto the cart. The elderly woman reached into her purse. "Please let me give you something." Claire immediately shook her head. "You already have." "What did I give you?" "The chance to help." The elderly woman's eyes glistened. "There are not many people like you anymore." Claire smiled with quiet humility. "I think there are. We just notice the loud ones more often." Across the restaurant window, the distinguished man had remained exactly where he was. He watched everything. Not through security cameras. Not through reports. Simply through the glass. The manager stood beside him in complete silence. "She still helps someone," the manager whispered. "Yes. After everything that happened inside." "Yes. And she refused money again." The man nodded slowly. "You cannot train that." The manager lowered his head. "No. You can only recognize it." Inside the restaurant office a few minutes later, security footage filled several computer monitors. The manager replayed the evening from the beginning. The distinguished man stood quietly beside him. Frame after frame revealed details no one had noticed while serving dinner. Claire holding the entrance door for a family carrying a stroller. Claire thanking the hostess with genuine warmth. Claire picking up a dropped napkin before anyone asked. Claire smiling at every employee who passed her table. Not one did the cameras capture impatience. Not one did they capture entitlement. The footage told a different story than the payment terminal ever could. Then another recording appeared. The manager frowned. This was last Tuesday. The waiter spoke sharply to another elderly customer whose coupon had expired. Another clip. A father trying to calm a crying toddler while receiving irritated looks from staff. Another. A veteran quietly eating alone after asking whether there was a senior discount. The distinguished man's expression remained calm. Only his eyes changed. Not with anger. With disappointment. "This was never about one employee," he said quietly. The manager slowly nodded. "It became our culture. It became acceptable." Silence settled over the office. The restaurant continued serving customers outside. Plates arrived. Coffee was poured. Conversations continued. Yet behind one closed office door, an entirely different conversation had begun. The distinguished man looked one final time at the monitor showing Claire helping the elderly woman outside beneath the streetlights. She believed the evening had ended with nothing more than an embarrassing dinner. She had no idea that the greatest evaluation of the night had only just begun. The next morning, the restaurant never unlocked its front doors. Employees arrived carrying coffee cups, aprons, and familiar routines. Instead of the usual welcome, they found a simple notice hanging neatly on the entrance. Closed until further notice. Mandatory leadership review. No additional explanation. Customers paused on the sidewalk, read the sign, then quietly walked away. Inside, the dining room felt strangely different. The soft music had been turned off. The cheerful conversations were gone. Only silence remained. Managers from every location in the restaurant group filled the largest meeting room. No one knew why they had been summoned before opening hours. Several whispered theories circled the room. A financial audit, a health inspection, a corporate merger. No one guessed the truth. At precisely 9 o'clock, the distinguished man entered without ceremony. He wore the same charcoal suit, the same calm expression. The room rose to its feet almost instantly. "Good morning," he said. His voice remained gentle. "Please have a seat." The managers obeyed. The restaurant manager from the previous evening sat quietly near the front. He had barely slept. The waiter sat beside him, unusually silent. No one looked angry. Most looked uncertain. The man placed a small remote control on the conference table. Without another word, a large screen illuminated the room. The first video began. Claire entered the restaurant holding her daughter's hand. She smiled warmly at the hostess. She thanked the waitress for bringing water. She held the entrance door for another family. No commentary followed, only video. The second recording appeared. Claire comforting her daughter while the payment terminal displayed a declined transaction. The third, her polite request for a few minutes. The fourth, the waiter's dismissive response. The room remained completely silent. No one interrupted. No one defended the behavior. Then the screen changed again. The elderly customer from the previous week. The father with the crying toddler. The veteran quietly asking about a discount. Different evenings. Different guests. The same pattern. Respect was offered selectively. Patience depended on appearances. Compassion had quietly disappeared from daily practice. The screen faded to black. The distinguished man folded his hands. "What business are we in?" One manager answered carefully. "Hospitality." He nodded. "What does hospitality mean?" Another manager spoke. "Serving quality food." "A part of it." He paused. "What else?" No one answered. He looked around the room. "We do not sell meals. We do not sell coffee. We do not sell tables." His voice never became louder. "We sell how people feel while they are here." The sentence settled over every person in the room. "If a guest leaves embarrassed." He paused. "We failed." "If a child leaves believing her mother was treated without dignity." Another pause. "We failed." "If kindness depends on the size of someone's wallet." His eyes moved slowly across the room. "We failed." No accusation. No humiliation. Only truth. The waiter lowered his head. "I never meant to hurt anyone." "I believe you." The answer came immediately. The room looked surprised. The distinguished man continued. "But intentions never erase experiences." The waiter swallowed hard. "I was trying to follow procedures. And procedures matter." He nodded. "But compassion must always come first." The restaurant manager quietly spoke. "I should have stepped in." "You should have." "I saw the situation." Another painful pause. "And I chose convenience over leadership." The distinguished man gave a small nod. "Thank you for your honesty." No applause followed. None was needed. He walked toward the large window overlooking the empty parking lot. Morning sunlight stretched across rows of vacant tables waiting for customers who would never arrive that day. He turned back toward the room. "Beginning today." His voice remained calm. "This restaurant will remain closed." Several managers exchanged stunned glances. Not as punishment. He looked directly at them. As an opportunity. "We are going to rebuild something much more important than a dining room." He took one slow breath. "We are going to rebuild the meaning of welcome." No one argued, because after watching the recordings, every person in the room understood that the restaurant had not been closed because of one $12 bill. It had been closed because kindness had quietly disappeared from the menu. The meeting ended without applause. No one hurried toward the door. Every manager left carrying something heavier than a notebook. They carried responsibility. The distinguished man remained inside the empty conference room for another few moments. He looked through the glass wall toward the silent dining room. Tables stood perfectly arranged. Fresh flowers still decorated every centerpiece. Everything looked beautiful. Everything had looked beautiful the night before as well. Yet beauty had failed to hide what mattered most. He reached into his pocket and removed the folded dinner receipt. $12. He looked at the number once more before quietly placing it inside his notebook. Not as evidence. As a reminder. Across town, Claire sat at the kitchen table while lily-colored butterflies across a sheet of construction paper. Morning sunlight warmed the small apartment through faded curtains. A kettle whistled softly on the stove. Life continued, almost unchanged. Claire opened her email. Another polite rejection. Another company had decided to move forward with another candidate. She smiled anyway, not because the words did not hurt, because Lily was watching. What happened, Mom? Claire closed the laptop gently. They found someone who fit the job. Lily thought for a moment. Maybe they just have not found the job that fits you. Claire laughed quietly. That sounds very wise. You always tell me people have different places. I do. Then your place is probably still looking for you. Claire reached across the table and hugged her daughter. I hope you never stop believing things like that. Meanwhile, inside corporate headquarters several miles away, the distinguished man entered another conference room. This meeting was much smaller. Only 4 executives waited. The director of operations, the vice president of human resources, the regional hospitality director, and the chief financial officer. A folder rested in front of each of them. No one opened it. Not until he sat down. I have made a decision. The executives listened carefully. The restaurant will reopen. The director of operations nodded with visible relief. Excellent. But not under the current leadership structure. The room became still. The regional hospitality director slowly closed his notebook. You intend to replace the management team? I intend to rebuild the culture. He slid a folder toward the center of the table. Inside were photographs captured from the previous evening. Claire helping the elderly woman, Lily sharing her birthday money, the declined payment, the untouched bowl of soup. No financial reports, no revenue charts, only people. The chief financial officer looked puzzled. Sir, what am I looking at? The future. Several eyebrows lifted. The distinguished man continued. We spend millions measuring customer satisfaction. He tapped one photograph gently. Yesterday, this woman showed us something none of our surveys ever measured. The vice president of human resources leaned closer. Compassion. Exactly. The room felt thoughtful. The regional hospitality director spoke carefully. What became of her? I do not know. You did not ask for her information? He smiled faintly. No. Why? Because I wanted yesterday to remain an act of kindness. Another quiet pause settled across the room. Then he added, but today is different. The executives looked toward him. I would like to find her. The director of operations opened the incident report. We have the credit card decline record. The distinguished man gently shook his head. No. The reservation? No. The security footage? Again he shook his head. We will not search through her private information. The executives exchanged uncertain glances. Then how? He smiled. The right people usually leave a trail. The vice president of human resources looked curious. What kind of trail? The waitress mentioned she visited every Friday after taking her daughter to the public library. He remembered every detail. The elderly woman outside thanked her by name. He looked toward the window. And sometimes, his voice softened. When someone spends their life helping strangers, those strangers remember them. At that very moment across the city, Claire helped Lily zip her little backpack before walking together toward the neighborhood library. Neither of them noticed the elegant black sedan quietly passing through the intersection a block away. Their paths had crossed once. Fate was already arranging another meeting. The neighborhood library was never crowded on Thursday afternoons. That was exactly why Claire loved bringing Lily there. It cost nothing. No one hurried them. And every shelf promised a new adventure they could carry home for free. Lily disappeared toward the children's section with a bright smile, carefully choosing another book about butterflies. Claire watched from a nearby table, just close enough to see her, just far enough to let her feel independent. She quietly opened her notebook and began searching through local job listings once again. Receptionist, administrative assistant, customer service. Every application required experience. Every posting promised opportunity. Every rejection had quietly taught her to hope a little more carefully. A gentle voice interrupted her thoughts. Excuse me. Claire looked up. The elderly woman from the grocery store stood beside the table, holding 2 library books against her chest. Recognition immediately softened both of their faces. "It is you." Claire smiled warmly. "It is nice to see you again. I was hoping I would." The elderly woman sat across from her after Claire nodded politely. "I never thanked you properly." "There was nothing to thank me for." "There was." She laughed softly. "You reminded me that kindness still exists." Claire lowered her eyes with quiet humility. "I think most people are kind. We simply notice the difficult moments more often." The elderly woman studied her for a moment. "My grandson owns several businesses." Claire smiled politely. "I hope they are doing well." "They are. But he spends too much time working." Claire laughed. "I think many people do." The conversation drifted naturally. Books, children, autumn weather, simple things. Neither woman noticed the elegant black sedan parking across the street. The distinguished man stepped onto the sidewalk carrying no briefcase. No assistants followed him. He simply walked toward the library entrance with the quiet pace of someone who had nowhere more important to be. Inside, the librarian greeted him with a warm smile. "Good afternoon." "Good afternoon. I am looking for someone." The librarian tilted her head. "A little girl who loves butterfly books." She smiled immediately. "Lily." "And her mother." The librarian glanced toward the children's reading corner. "They are here every Thursday." He followed her gaze. Across the room, Claire helped Lily sound out a difficult word without ever taking the book from her hands. Instead of reading for her, she encouraged her to discover each sentence herself. The distinguished man watched quietly. No performance, no audience, just patience. The elderly woman noticed him first. She smiled knowingly. "I believe someone has been looking for you." Claire turned. For a brief second, surprise crossed her face. Then recognition followed. "The restaurant." He smiled gently. "I was hoping we might meet again." Lily looked up from her book. "Mom, is that the nice man?" Claire nodded. "Yes, sweetheart." The little girl closed her book carefully before standing. "Thank you for being nice to my mom." The words were so simple that the room itself seemed to grow quieter. He knelt until they were nearly the same height. "Your mother makes that very easy." Lily smiled proudly. "I know." Claire felt warmth rise to her cheeks. "I am sorry. My daughter speaks whatever she is thinking. Then she is already wiser than many adults." All 3 of them laughed softly. The moment carried no awkwardness, only ease. He stood once more and looked toward Claire. "I wondered if you might have a few minutes." She hesitated. "I cannot stay very long. I would never ask you to." He reached into his jacket and removed a simple envelope. Not thick, not formal, just one folded letter. "I owe you an explanation." Claire accepted it carefully. "You do not owe me anything." "I believe I do." She looked down at the envelope. There was no company logo, only her first name, written neatly across the front. For reasons she could not explain, she felt that opening it might change much more than her afternoon. Perhaps it might quietly change the direction of her life. Claire held the envelope for several quiet seconds before opening it. The paper felt surprisingly ordinary. No embossed seal, no legal language, only a single handwritten note. "Thank you for reminding me what leadership looks like." She looked up. "I do not understand." The distinguished man smiled gently. "I expected that." He motioned toward a small reading garden just outside the library, where wooden benches rested beneath tall maple trees. "If you have a few minutes, I would like to explain." Claire glanced toward Lily. The librarian smiled warmly. "We are starting story time." Lily's eyes sparkled. "Can I stay, Mom?" Claire nodded. "I will be right outside." The little girl hugged her quickly before running toward the circle of children gathering around a colorful rug. Claire followed the man into the quiet garden. Autumn leaves drifted slowly through the afternoon air. Neither of them spoke until they reached a shaded bench. Finally, he broke the silence. "My name is Ethan." She smiled politely. "I never asked. I noticed. I did not think it mattered." His expression softened. "It probably did not." He folded his hands. I am the chief executive officer of the company that owns that restaurant. Claire blinked. For a moment, she simply stared at him. You own it. I do. She remembered the manager's face, the business card, the sudden silence. Everything fit together. I had no idea. I preferred it that way. Claire lowered her eyes. I hope I did not create problems for anyone. You revealed problems that already existed. She looked back at him. There is a difference. A breeze carried the laughter of children from inside the library. It reminded both of them why the conversation mattered. Ethan continued. The restaurant has been closed since yesterday morning. Claire's eyes widened. Because of me? No. He answered immediately. Because of choices my organization had been making long before you walked through those doors. She released a slow breath. I have been thinking about that night. So have I. I kept wondering whether I should have handled things differently. You should not. He smiled gently. You showed more patience than anyone else in that room. Claire laughed quietly. I did not feel patient. You chose kindness anyway. She looked toward the colorful library windows. My mother used to tell me that people remember how you make them feel long after they forget what happened. She was right. He paused. I watched the security recordings. Claire looked surprised. All of them. Every minute. I also watched what happened outside after you left. She smiled with quiet embarrassment. The groceries. Yes. You helped someone moments after being humiliated. I did not think about it. I know. That is exactly why it mattered. Silence settled comfortably between them. Not empty. Reflective. Ethan reached into his jacket once more. This time he removed a simple folder. I would like to ask you something. Claire listened carefully. We are rebuilding the restaurant. She nodded. I hope it becomes a better place. So do I. He placed the folder gently on the bench between them. I would like you to help us. Claire looked at him in disbelief. I have never managed a restaurant. I am not asking you to. I have no executive experience. I know. I am only a customer. He smiled. No. He gently shook his head. You are the person who reminded us what every customer deserves. Claire looked down at the folder. Across the front were 4 simple words. Customer Experience Advisor. She looked up again. You are offering me a job? I am offering you a chance. A chance to make sure no child ever watches a parent lose their dignity over a dinner bill again. Claire felt emotion quietly rise behind her eyes. Not because someone had finally recognized her. Because someone had recognized the value she had tried to live by all along. Inside the library, Lily's laughter floated through the open doorway. Claire smiled toward the sound. Then she looked back at Ethan. For the first time since that evening at the restaurant, the future no longer felt like something she had to survive. It felt like something she could finally help shape.